Hello everyone and welcome to Memory Flow, where we discuss fragrance and fragrance collecting, and today we will be talking about Parfum de Nicolai, and I will show you my latest purchase. Now, I am completely new to the world of Parfum de Nicolai, but my interest in this house kind of grew organically from my love of Guerlain. Now, as you may know, Patricia de Nicolai, who is the perfumer behind this, all of these creations and behind this house, is a direct descendant of the house of Guerlain. She is sort of the niece slash cousin of Jean-Paul Guerlain's, and my interest in this house peaked lately for two reasons. First of all, two fragrance bloggers that I admire very much, Beauty Barometer, she's a Romanian blogger, and Osmer Review. Have both posted interviews with Patricia de Nicolai, and they are very detailed and kind of showcase the personality of the master perfumer. And secondly, a while back I received this this decant of New York Intense from a friend, and very soon after I purchased Eau Sauvage Parfum, my interest in ambery, spicy, aromatic, ambery, spicy fragrances kind of boomed, as it was to be expected, and I gave this a more serious try, and lo and behold, I am now enthralled with how gorgeous this is, and I simply had to buy it. So my purchase of the day will be, of course, New York Intense. And also I want to mention that Luca Turin, in this book, Perfumes, the A to Z Guide, which he co-wrote with Tanya Sanchez, he gave New York, the fragrance by Parfum de Nicolai, the 1989 version, not the 2014, which is the Intense version. They are both in production, but I wasn't able to find the original version, just the Intense one. He gave it 5 stars, and I just quickly want to mention that Luca Turin, no matter his background, no matter his experience and pure knowledge on biochemistry and some such, he is still a reviewer just like everybody else is, and his opinions are not facts, so you do not have to agree with him. But this book is a fun read nevertheless. Just take these with a grain of salt, and as usual, try to form your own opinions. But then again, for this fragrance to get the endorsement of Luca Turin, I think he basically put this fragrance on the map. I'm not sure about this statement, but I guess he's the one we have to thank if you like this fragrance. Anyway, enough about that, enough about Luca Turin. So long story short, I did my research, and I happened to find a perfumery that sells in Romania, Parfum de Nicolai, and I purchased New York Intense together with a discovery set that they sold, an official discovery set, which I haven't opened yet, and I will give you because I am very serious about this. I want to get to know this house. I want to get to know more fragrances from this house. So this contains 12 fragrances. This was about 40 to 50 euros. I will put it on the screen because I don't know. So this contains Incense Oud, Ambre Cashmere Intense, Baikal Leather Intense, Kirkuba Intense, Musk Intense, Number 1 Intense, New York Intense, which, well, again, I guess it's a double, Patchouli Intense, Cap Neroli, Fig Tea, Rose Pivoine, L'eau Mixte. Also, with the purchase of New York Intense, I got two, I guess, unofficial, yes, they're unofficial fragrances. They're basically decants from the store that I bought them. I did mention the store in my Romanian video because I did an unboxing in Romanian. But if anyone, I guess their delivery is limited to Romania, so I don't think this would be an interest to you. But these are Sacre Bleu. I think it's Sacre Bleu Intense or just Sacre Bleu, I'm not sure. And Vie de Chateau, because again, this is another fragrance that I was very much interested in because of that that surge I was in when I was finally getting my hands on Eau Sauvage Parfum, which is just so good. I don't want to compare them because they're incomparable, but then again, the ballpark is sort of the same, sort of, it's not. But there are, you know, similarities when it comes to aromatic ambers. So how does this smell? Let's do this. I opened this. This had a seal which I had to cut in order to open the bottle. I put the bottle back in its box just to show you the presentation. Some of you might not know how these come. This is a 30 milliliter bottle. I didn't go for the large one simply because I knew this was a very powerful fragrance from this decant. I don't think, at this point, I don't think I need another 100 milliliter bottle. I have enough fragrances to last me several lifetimes. But also because I find that the pricing for the smaller bottles is much more equitable, much more affordable. So usually for other brands, for most brands, smaller bottles tend to be way more expensive than the larger bottles. I'm sure you know what I mean, but I found this one to be rather equitable to the larger bottles, so I just went ahead and got the smaller bottle. I'm not sure they even have a 50 milliliter one. I'm not sure, they might, but I didn't search for one. So this, of course, as I said, this is an aromatic, spicy amber. I was thinking to maybe call it a lavender because the lavender is pretty obvious, especially in the opening. This, and I forgot to say this in the previous video, this has, of course, this has a lot of references. There are a lot of other perfumes, other fragrances that I can basically smell hints of while I smell or while I wear New York Intense. But because of that specific, because of that lavender, there's some vibes of Mouchoir de Monsieur and Jequet in this, because of course it's another sort of fougere with a Chypre architecture. This is so good to me. So the opening of the fragrance is very much in line with the opening of Habit Rouge. It's a deeply citrus scent. It's fresh. It's aromatic. I'm not saying, mind you, I'm not saying they're the same, just hints, references that you can maybe understand how the fragrance, how this smells, how this works. It's pretty, the orange in this, so the bergamot is gives off very zesty orangey vibes. There's also hints of bitter citron fruit, which I find to be extremely elegant, by the way. And this is one of the, so New York Intense happens to be one of the most beautiful spicy bergamot smells that I know up to now, which is saying something. But yeah, it's this aromatic. It also has this fresh flowery heart, which is kind of composed of some chamomile and some neroli, and I'm pretty sure the lavender, of course, and I'm pretty sure there are hints of jasmine in this. By the way, I do have the notes here. This came with the fragrance, and I do have some notes in here, and they are you can see them, I'm pretty sure. I will not read them, but just to let you know, this is one of those fragrances that has many notes. This is very complex, and I do miss these types of fragrances where you have this huge wall of text of notes, and that's just testimony of the complexity and the skillfulness, I guess, of the perfumer behind it. So yeah, this beautiful flowery heart of the fragrance. I'm sure it contains some jasmine, some hedione, but then again, it's more akin to wildflowers, not the because this is a unisex, but it does lean more masculine, in my opinion, at least when it comes to its references. And most of the references are in fact male marketed fragrances, so take that whatever way you want. In no means I'm not gatekeeping this fragrance at all. Just go try it, no matter your gender. You might love it. So yeah, it also has this bitter herbal aspect. It has this beautiful bittersweet artemisia and thyme, and although it's not mentioned, I do feel hints of patchouli in this, especially in the dry down, because of that bittersweet artemisia and the thyme, it does remind me, and the oak moss, of course, it does remind me of Antaeus, without it being too dark and too animalic, and but it does have that earthy, woody, chypre thing that Antaeus also has. Also, during its progress, it veers pretty close to Héritage de Guerlain. So many references in this fragrance. It becomes very close to Héritage at some point because of that woody, sweet patchouli amber. It does, as it dries down, so in its middle, in its heart, the fragrance does lose some of that freshness, some of that aromatic freshness, and it does get darker and more syrupy and basically more resinous, more ambery, but it never becomes a dark fragrance. It's the color impression that it gives me is a brightly colored golden honey, because it's an ambery scent, and this is what ambery scents tend to, this is the impression, the color impression ambery scents tend to have, because it never turns black, it never turns those shades of dark. There is some leather in this. It's the same leather from Héritage, or very much close to the leather in Héritage. It is animalic, but it's rather contained. It's very much refined. It's that gentleman's leather. It's a silky, smooth, very much soft leather, which is so beautiful, but it does have some hints of smoky woods, because it does remind me of that furry aspect that castoreum has, which is interesting, and it does add to its complexity. Also, there are parts of it that remind me of Yatagan Purom. It's again that, so in Yatagan Purom, though that Artemisia, the unexpectedly turns into this bitter sweet herbalness, and this does kind of have the same thing, which is so good. But while it dries, so as it dries down, it kind of tends to lighten itself. So it starts as a very fresh aromatic fougere, then it darkens itself, grows into something very resinous, very chypre, and then it settles into this light, happy, very elegant, powdery vanilla, which is dry with hints of patchouli and dry woods, just like heritage. Again, hints, not the same fragrance, you have to try it, but yeah, it's a beautiful journey. The fragrance is very well crafted, and I'm so happy I have it. It's very welcome in my collection. It doesn't, although it does have all of these references to other fragrances, I do feel it has its place. It doesn't get doubled by any of them, because it kind of does its own thing, which is so good. But yeah, the last time I wore it, which was last night, I got these huge impressions of Mouchoir de Monsieur, which is that lavender is so delicious, and of course those Jiki vibes that I told you about. So yeah, many references, gorgeous scent, gorgeous. I'm so happy I own it. So if you have any more questions about New York Intense, do hit me up in the comment. This is indeed intense. This lasts for a long time, more than 8 or 9 hours after. So I sprayed it last night before I went to sleep, and when I woke up after 8 or 9 hours, I could still feel it very much clear. So yeah, there are no problems in terms of longevity, and I guess I had to make sure because I always forget to brief you on longevity and performance and stuff like that. So yeah, hit me up in the comments if you have any more questions, and until next time, remember, fragrance creates memories, and may yours be happy.